Hi, I'm Mary.
And I'm Katie, and this is The Housewife Did It.
True Crime Edition.
Back at it. Woo, woo, woo. And I actually have real-time true crime this week.
Yay!
So, if you were listening 2 weeks ago, you heard the story of Sherry Papini, who faked her own kidnapping. If you weren't listening 2 weeks ago, you should go listen to that. But I have an update. So Sherry and Keith are in court against each other now, fighting over finances. I couldn't really make this part out, but basically she has an unpaid credit card bill over $3,200 from purchases that she made at Best Buy, all on a credit card that it seems Keith opened after her kidnapping to help her get her credit up, or at least, that's one report of where the credit card came from. But I'm guessing he's being left to pay that bill off in some way, shape, or form, because he's fighting her in court about it. But Sherry is fighting for a share of the insurance payout that Keith received when their home caught fire from a forest fire that ran through Shasta County. So Keith received money for that because he and the kids were living in it, and she was living in prison. But now
Jail!
she would like a share of that payout.
No, bitch, you weren't there.
Sorry.
Maybe you shouldn't have gone to jail.
Yeah. Also,
think about the future, Sherry.
Yeah. Also, another update in a case. So in 2022, there was a main suspect named in the Madeleine McCann case after discovering that his camper van was at the scene of her disappearance. That is Christian Bruckner, who is currently in prison in Germany for a 2005 rape of a 72-year-old woman in Praia de Luz, the same place that Madeleine was taken from 2 years after that rape.
Very different demographic, though.
But this week, the police are searching for USB drives, trophies that he may have kept, or data that they suspect Christian has of his victims. And they think that he has multiple hidden layers or hiding places, and so they are searching many locations to try to find anything related to Madeleine. It does kind of sound, though, like it does kind of sound, though, like they are running out of time or out of maybe places to look. So, good and bad, I guess. All right, you ready to get into it?
Yes.
On March 4th, 2022, Eric Richins was found by his wife unresponsive in their bed and had died in the night. At the age of 39, with no known health issues, this came as a shock to everyone. As everyone tried to piece together the details of his death, most theories would have one thing in common, or one person. First, let me tell you a little about Eric Richins. He was born in Bountiful, Utah, and had grown up a part of the... Isn't that kind of cute?
No, that's very Utah. And he grew up a part of the LDS church.
That's exactly right.
In Bountiful, Utah.
He loved hunting, helping at his parents' cattle ranch, and especially his family, which included his wife Corey and their 3 sons, Carter, Ashton, and Weston. When he was younger, he served a 2-year mission in Mexico City, where he became fluent in Spanish. When he returned, he got his bachelor's from the University of Utah in International Studies with a minor in Spanish. In 2022, he was running his own successful masonry business. Corey and Eric had first met about a decade earlier when Corey's coworker and Eric's friend, Linda, introduced the two of them. Corey was working at Home Depot, and Linda encouraged Eric to check out through Corey's lane because she felt like they would hit it off really well. Linda was obviously right, and the two moved in together after only 3 months. Corey and Eric got engaged in January of 2012, bought a house and welcomed their first child in November of 2012, and then married in 2013. Not the order that Mormons usually do it, but they're not
I was wrong.
They're not like...
They're not the BYU Mormons.
Yeah, no, they're like normal.
Cute.
On their wedding...
Okay, I'm on board now.
Yeah. Mary's tune has changed. But on their wedding day, as Corey was about to walk down the aisle, Eric's mom handed Corey a prenup to sign. This outlined...
Bitch.
Yeah.
This is not the fucking time.
I know, right? This outlined that if the two divorced, she would have no rights to any of Eric's assets. Now, I don't have any information on this, but this is apparently because Eric had been married before, and that divorce did hurt him a little bit financially. So I don't know, like, anything else about that marriage, but that's what I hear.
A divorcee with a baby out of wedlock?
Yeah. Mary, they're like, you gotta take the LDS part out. They're, like, pretty normal.
It's not even the LDS part, it's the Utah part.
Oh, yeah. There's gonna be drinking, it's all normal. But this makes me wonder, did Eric want a prenup, but just, like, wanted his mom to be the bad guy? Or did, like, he not even know that she got this drawn up? Like, very weird.
If it's the first, that's fucking embarrassing.
Right.
To make your mommy ask for a prenup for you.
I know.
How very Mormon of you.
Mary.
To not be confrontational.
Yeah, it's true. But now we're going to fast forward to 2022. The family is living in Camas, Utah. Eric owned a masonry business with a friend, and Corey did real estate and house flipping. So she really moved up from the Home Depot. Killing it, girl.
But stayed within the same.
I know.
It's a linear progression.
Yeah, it's great. On March 4th, between 9 and 9:30 p.m., after the kids had been put to bed, Corey made her and Eric Moscow mules, and they sat down to celebrate. They were celebrating her recent purchase of a multi-million-dollar home and property in Midway, Utah. It was an unfinished 20,000 square foot mansion sitting on 9 acres. Being parents of young children, their night of celebrating was interrupted by one of their...
What do mansions look like in Utah?
Big houses? The same thing they look like other places. They just look like they're on a lot of land. Bountiful.
Yeah, I was just thinking because, like, there's, like, an influencer I follow who lives in, like, a mansion in Austin, Texas, and it is, like, super, like, modern looking.
Yeah.
So, like, I'm wondering, like, but in 2022, are all mansions in 2022 modern looking, or are there still some Victorian mansions out there?
Well, this one was
in landlocked places.
This one was unfinished in 2022. So, like, my feeling is that it would turn out pretty modern. It's, like, still being done. But being parents of young children, their night of celebrating was interrupted by one of their sons having nightmares. Corey went into the kid's room and actually ended up sleeping in his bed. She made her way back to her and Eric's bed around 3 a.m., and she noticed that Eric was cold to the touch. She attempted to wake him, but he wasn't moving, and she realized that he wasn't breathing. Corey called 911, and the operator instructed her to move Eric to the floor and to attempt CPR. She did move him to the floor and reported attempting CPR.
I have one more Mormon joke. I'm sorry.
Give it.
This is what they're afraid of with drinking. This is why they don't drink, because this man has one Moscow Mule.
And he's dead. No. Okay. It won't be funny later. But given your current ignorance, it's great.
No, I know. I can make assumptions that where this has gone.
Yeah.
Already. Because we wouldn't be here if a 39-year-old man just died in his sleep.
Yeah.
I already know he didn't just die in his sleep.
Yeah.
So, again, I say, this is why they steer clear of the drinkies, because you just never know. You can never trust anyone.
Yeah.
This is what it's like to be a woman in a bar.
Mormonism is. What?
You can't trust anyone.
Yeah. Okay. When officers arrived at the scene, Eric was on the floor at the foot of their bed, as described. He was non-responsive with blood around his mouth, and upon closer inspection, they saw that Eric's mouth was filled with blood, but there was no smudging to the blood and no blood present on Corey. They noted...
Why is he on the floor?
Because 911 told her to move him to the floor and attempt CPR.
Uh-oh. Okay.
They noted this because Corey continued to report that she had attempted CPR unsuccessfully. They wanted to know about Eric's health history. What could cause a seemingly healthy 39-year-old to die in the middle of the night? Corey said that he didn't have any health issues. I mean, he had gotten an allergy shot the day before, and this caused some mild chest pain, but otherwise, perfectly healthy. She said that he didn't use any drugs, except sometimes he would have a THC gummy before bed, but that night he had not. I will say, Corey, that is drugs. It's not bad drugs. It's not hard drugs. It's like fine, but it is drugs. So,
alcohol is drugs also.
Right. But she says...
Thank you, Red Ribbon Week.
Yeah. But she says that he had not used one that night.
Okay.
Friends, family, and people in the community were obviously shocked by the news and started theorizing about what could have happened. Some heard that it was just a peaceful death in his sleep. Others heard that he had a brain aneurysm. And none of these would turn out to be right. It turns out that Eric's cause of death was actually a fentanyl overdose. He had 5 times the lethal amount of fentanyl in his system.
Oh my God.
Yeah. But investigators had found no traces of drugs or drug paraphernalia in the Richins' home. As soon as people heard this, almost everyone became suspicious of the circumstances of Eric's death, and they started looking into those closest to him.
I know who this is now. Okay.
Yeah. Eric's family said that Eric had told them that if something happened to him, they should watch Corey's behavior closely. In which case, I say, what the fuck? Are you still married to her?
I don't get that.
Eric, no hate, but I would shake you a little bit.
Yes. I feel bad for all my jokes now that I'm remembering who this is. But yeah, I think there's like a difference in like a situation where a partner is like clearly scared of the other.
Mm-hmm.
And is saying like, if something bad happens to me, it was my partner.
Right.
And where you're just suspicious of your partner. If you're just suspicious and not scared, you need to skedaddle.
Yeah, I think like unless there's something that you think like would happen to you by leaving, then yeah, I'm not really getting it.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying is like if you're legitimately scared of your partner, like that's one thing. But if you're just like Yeah, but if you're, like, comfortable with your partner, but are just like,
I don't trust this bitch to not
I
kill
have
me.
a suspicion. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know about this. Like, peace out.
Yeah. It turns out that Eric may have had suspicions of Corey poisoning him on other occasions in the past, obviously in smaller doses. For example, it is said that Corey made him a sandwich on Valentine's Day that year and left it on the seat of his truck with a love note, but when he ate it, he broke out in hives and couldn't breathe. He had to use his son's EpiPen and took Benadryl, and he was better. A friend said that Eric messaged him that he was afraid of Corey, or was afraid that Corey was trying to poison him. Reportedly, Eric got sick again that same night after eating a romantic dinner that Corey had prepared for him for Valentine's Day. People also...
After you thought she had poisoned you with a sandwich, you ate her romantic dinner?
Yeah.
No. Bad idea.
Honey, we should go to a restaurant tonight.
Yeah, I want to treat you this evening.
Yeah. People also mentioned hearing from Eric that a similar thing had happened when on vacation with Corey in 2019 in Greece. He became violently ill after drinking a drink that Corey had brought to him. Some financial issues or even disagreements started to come to light as well. It turns out that Corey had been running up credit cards on Eric's accounts. She was using his personal money to fund her business investments, buying and flipping homes. Corey had opened lines of credit and used the mortgage of their house as collateral. I'm assuming without Eric's knowledge. It is reported that Corey not only took out 5 separate life insurance policies on Eric over the past few years, but she had also seemingly forged Eric's signature, granting herself power of attorney.
Bad Corey.
Yeah. At the end of 2020, though, Eric had found out about Corey using his accounts, and he saw a divorce lawyer and estate planning attorney to draft a new estate plan. He gave his sister...
Oh, well, good.
Yeah, he was thinking ahead. He gave his sister power of attorney and left her contact information as the only person that the lawyer should be in contact with. He left his sister Katie as the beneficiary of his estate for the primary benefit of his sons.
I have a sister, Katie.
Yeah, I better be your beneficiary for your estate.
You are not. I can't have life insurance.
I don't think my husband is going to murder me.
I can't have life insurance because I am a health risk.
Yeah, that'll do it.
They won't give it to me. But if I was,
still wouldn't
maybe.
Be me.
Yeah, maybe.
In January of 2022, Corey changed the beneficiary of Eric's $2 million life insurance policy to herself. However, Eric was alerted to the change and changed it back to his business partner.
Why is she able to do that?
I don't know. Unless she's forging his signature again. Like, that would be my guess. In February of 2022, Corey's house flipping business was nearly $2 million in debt. The day after Eric's death, Corey did make her purchase of the Midway house for $2 million. This number seems to come up a lot.
Your husband just died.
Yeah.
We're not buying houses.
Yeah.
I just told my husband that I didn't want to buy a house right now because I didn't want to have to take down my Christmas decorations and move. Okay, I cannot imagine buying a house the day after my husband died.
Well, she wasn't going to live in it. She's going to flip it.
I know, but like,
still.
Buying a house is, like, a lot.
Not when you do it every day for your job, but
I mean, like there's a lot that goes into it. Like, there's a lot of, like, signatures and,
sure,
like,
but I'm saying, like, she
does things. So
she does do it every day, but it is weird that the thing you were celebrating that the night that your husband died, you're now like, and I'm just gonna continue with that.
Yeah,
wake up the next morning, plan is the same.
Yeah, I think what I'm saying is, like, I would not be out of bed.
Right.
So, like, the idea of, like, looking at my phone to even do a DocuSign.
Yeah.
No, like, I would be unreachable. I would be inconsolable. Like, there's no question of me doing literally anything.
Right.
Especially buying a house.
Yes. I think that would be true for most everyone. Eric's family, though, remembered that Eric had told them he did not want to purchase this property and told them that they would not be going through with it. In fact, he had indicated to them that he would be seeking a divorce soon. Some people say that they saw Corey having a party at the new Midway Mansion on March 5th, the day after Eric's death, to celebrate her newest purchase. So, Mary, how likely would it be for you to do that?
I think I made it pretty clear. I think I have made it pretty clear. I want a house to be partying in.
Shortly after Eric's death, Corey called a locksmith to get her into Eric's safe in their garage that allegedly had anywhere between $125,000 and $165,000 in cash. That's a lot of cash.
Did he win Big Brother recently?
Weird. Eric's sister protested vehemently that Corey had no rights to get into his safe. Corey told his sister Amy that in the prenup, it does say that she has a right to Eric's assets if he died before they might divorce.
Girl, I would not be pointing that out to people.
I
would keep my fucking mouth shut.
Although
since your brother's dead,
I deserve this.
I can do what I want.
Yeah. Although it is disputed what happens next, the details of it, a physical altercation of some sort ensued between Corey and Amy.
That's embarrassing.
All of this is suspicious and points to motive, but none of it gets us any closer to proving that Corey committed murder by poison. Police did get her phone records and found a few interesting things. Corey claimed that she didn't take her phone into her children's bedroom when she went in there around 9-something. This was backed up by phone records that showed her phone locked around 9 and did not unlock again until 3:07 a.m., which is about when she says she came back to the bedroom. However, she didn't dial 911 until 3:22 a.m., about 15 minutes after unlocking her phone. So, did it take her 15 minutes to discover that his body was cold? Or did it take her 15 minutes after discovering his body was cold? You know? You'd think you'd notice the dead man before you're, like, playing on your phone. But, I don't know. Whatever. Corey also deleted all of the texts from her phone that night, which is weird because no one does that.
And again, I say, look, my husband has never died and hopefully never will.
Well, unfortunately, no. Mary,
not for me. But if he did, so I don't know what the right reaction is, but if he did, I can guarantee you that my mind would not be at, I'm just going to delete all my messages from everyone.
Yeah, I think that they mean she deleted them before, because they say that night, and technically at 3 a.m. it was morning. But But I don't really know. Yeah. But from what I've found, they did not search the Richins' home until April 13th. So a month and a half later. But when they did, they found an iPhone on her nightstand, and they were able to look through Corey's search history. I'm unclear, like, the timing of these searches. Like, were they on April 13th? Were they just days between? Were they before his death? I'm not sure. But she had Googled how poisoning death is reflected on death certificate. Can deleted text...
Girl. How do you think it's reflected, ding dong?
Dead by poison. Can deleted texts be retrieved? Will life insurance pay if death certificate is pending? Can cops force you to do a lie detector? When does the FBI get involved in a case? What happens to deleted messages? And luxury prisons for the rich in America.
You didn't have time to Google how to delete your search history?
Yeah. Doofus.
That, like, okay, Casey Anthony, I just don't understand, like, you're Googling all of this shit to, like, cover your tracks, but you don't start with, can police see everything I've searched?
Yeah.
Like,
Girl.
Idiocy.
Yeah. And it doesn't even seem like, yeah, like, they probably, I don't know, I was going to say they can probably pull that up somehow, even if she had deleted them.
Yeah, I'm just
saying. But it's like she
like,
literally didn't even delete them. Like, they just picked up her iPhone, clicked on history, and it was right there.
My favorite, like, petty thing to do as a teacher is, like, if one of my kids says, like, so-and-so is, like, looking at an inappropriate website, and I'll say, oh, can you bring me your computer? And they'll, like, X out of it, and I'll, like, sit in front of them and click search history.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll say, huh, so you were Googling bikini girls. So the fact that my 7-year-olds are now aware that this is a thing.
Yeah.
And you couldn't even think in all of your questions.
Yeah.
You couldn't even think to start with, can police see what I've Googled?
Yeah. How to delete search history.
Bare fucking minimum.
Yeah.
Even if you, like, my question wouldn't even be about deleting my search history. It'd be, can they search after I've deleted my search history?
Right.
Because there's certainly no way I would leave that search history up.
Right. Well, I was saying the bare minimum would just be how to delete search history.
Dummy. Look. I know how to be a criminal at this point because I'm just listening to all these stupid heads and thinking, I could do that way better.
Yeah. You're on a list somewhere.
Me?
Yeah, I guess, now that you've said that.
Yeah.
And it's going to be published.
They'd never find me because I know the rules now. But yeah, I just, like, I don't get it. I don't get how you're so dumb.
So, also in April, Corey texted the investigators just to clarify that her and Eric had no financial concerns or issues between them.
Did they ask? No.
No.
Okay.
Next, the investigators needed to figure out how Eric would have gotten or been given fentanyl, specifically street fentanyl. They were able to identify that it was not medical grade. Investigators found, while searching the Richins' electronic devices, lots of contact between Corey and someone named Carmen. Carmen cleaned houses for Corey's real estate and flipping business. And the police were able to look Carmen up in the system and found that she had prior arrests for possession of controlled substances, intent to distribute, and possession of drug paraphernalia. Carmen admitted to police that she had sold fentanyl to Corey Richins between December 2021 and February 2022. Corey had asked Carmen to get her pain medication for an investor of Corey's who had a back injury, which just sounds like a conflict of interest to me, that you're just providing pain.
That's a weird
You're not
thing.
a doctor. Whatever. Originally, Carmen sold Corey hydrocodone, but later Corey said that the investor needed something stronger, specifically that Michael Jackson stuff, or fentanyl. Now, let me be clear, Michael Jackson was not known to take, nor did he die from fentanyl. So, I'm not sure. She's mixing phenobarbital and fentanyl. Why are you laughing?
Oh my god.
Hold on, let me make sure I said that right. Propofol. Propofol and fentanyl. She's mixing propofol and fentanyl. Even worse. Not even close.
No, stupid.
Carmen delivered $900 worth of fentanyl to Corey on February 11th. According to the stories that we heard earlier, 3 days later, Eric may have been poisoned in his Valentine's Day sandwich. On February 26th, Corey bought more fentanyl from Carmen for another $900. And 6 days later, on March 4th, Eric Richins had died of a fentanyl overdose.
There's a lot of money.
Yeah. Probably Eric's money.
Yeah.
Police were able to match Corey's phone records with Carmen's story, including those dates. Although people in the community, as well as law enforcement, were suspicious of Corey, she did keep on living her life until they could find enough to arrest her. Eric and Corey's kids were beginning to struggle with grief and understanding the loss of their father. So Corey wrote and self-published a children's book on grief titled Are You With Me? She says she wrote the book alongside her children as a way for them to all work through their grief. The description of the book reads, a heartwarming and reassuring book that guides children through the difficult experience of losing a loved one, written by a loving mother who personally faced this challenge. This book is designed to offer comfort and solace to young minds in a way that is both accessible and engaging. She dedicates the book to her amazing husband and wonderful father.
Do you think that, she, before she killed him, was like, I could get, clout from this? Or do you think that afterwards she was just like, I could, we could do something with this?
Yeah, I don't really know. I feel like she, maybe money, maybe she had thought, I can monetize this in more ways than one. But yeah, I don't really know. And allegedly killed him. Oh, God. Corey got a spot on Good News Utah to share about her new book. She explained that she couldn't find a book out there that spoke to what her and her children were going through, so she thought, let's just write one. Everybody can be a writer. After the on-air segment, Corey shared with the news anchors, so not on TV, she tells them that her husband had died of lung complications from COVID.
You don't think an investigative reporter could double check that, sister?
They did not care to. After the episode aired, one anchor received an email that just read, she killed her husband, with a bunch of exclamation points. She also received a message on Facebook saying, did you know she's under investigation for his murder? The anchor says that up until this point, she had no idea. Now, it seems like Good News Utah is a statewide news program, so I guess it, like, does make sense that she wouldn't, like, know of the rumblings in Corey and Eric's, like, specific town. But very unfortunate.
Yeah, you gotta research before you let people come on your show, please.
Yeah. On May 8th, 2023, Corey Richins was arrested for the aggravated murder of her husband, possession of a controlled substance, and other drug-related crimes. In June of 2023, Corey attempted to sue Eric's sister for rights to their joint assets, as lined out in their prenup. However, the state of Utah prevents those suspected of homicide from profiting from the crime. Good for Utah, but also trying to sue Eric's sister after being arrested is bold as hell.
And after you got into a physical fight with her?
Yeah. You want to add another charge to that list?
Girl. You bold.
Yeah. While Corey Richins has not yet gone to trial, there have been various hearings and arguments made by the defense at this time that we can get into. In response to the alleged previous poisoning attempts, the defense had some explanations. When the Richins were in Greece in 2019, Eric was not drinking alcohol. Eric had actually gotten Lyme disease earlier in the year from tick bites and was on some medication that he wasn't able to drink with. They were also on this trip with friends who said that they did not see Corey hand Eric a drink or make Eric a drink. Instead, what arguably happened is that the staff accidentally made Eric an alcoholic beverage instead of the non-alcoholic that he asked for, and this is what made him violently ill.
Because it was mixed with his medication?
Right.
Okay.
To which I say, fine. On Valentine's Day, they argued that Corey did not make the sandwich for Eric. She actually bought the sandwich before putting it on the seat in his truck. This means nothing to me. You think I can't sprinkle some fentanyl in a sandwich that I bought and then wrap it back up? What? Like it has to be homemade for her to have poisoned him? Okay. Moving right along. So all we've learned here is that maybe Corey wasn't trying to poison him in 2019, but she at least was in 2022. They point out that there is not a single text or document that was found that showed Eric claiming that Corey was trying to poison him, or that he feared she would kill him, or that he would be seeking a divorce. Which sucks. I really wish people had held on to that, or he had done that in writing. Unless he was just telling his family by word of mouth, but come on, buddy. Send that in an email. We're going to need that. Witnesses would come forward and say that on March 5th, over at the Midway Mansion, Corey was not throwing a party. People were stopping by the home to console her, and people ended up gathering, but that it was not an inappropriately joyous occasion. In fact, but I think even thinking about that, to your point, how do you get out of bed and, get dressed and, go over to the house to accept condolences? My ass is in bed. Even if it wasn't a party, to your point, you still got out of bed, got dressed, went over to this house you just bought, and, accepted condolences from people the day after your husband died. Or really, the day of, because it was the day of that you found him. So, you woke up at 3 a.m., found your husband dead, and that night, I'm dead. I'm laying in bed, I cannot move.
Yeah. Also, who is aware that you bought this house that is driving to that house to console you?
Yeah, I guess they're saying they just drove by and, her car was there, but it's, it's a little bold of those people to think, like, oh, she's going to want to talk. I should go in there the day after her husband died.
Yeah. I do have, like, one question. Like, why, with the sandwich, why does it seem like what happened was, like, an allergic reaction almost? Like, hives and, like, swelling, but those were not any symptoms he had when he died.
Well, we don't know that those aren't symptoms he had when he died. Or, like, leading up to his death. I mean, I guess there weren't hives found on his body post-mortem, but, like, he could have felt his throat closing. We have unaccounted for time between 9 and 3, but my guess is just that simply, like, a small dose of fentanyl, it was just not, like, lethal, and it was just, like, basically, yeah, I mean, it just caused, like, a strange reaction for him.
Yeah.
But it's also interesting to me because she bought $900 worth both times.
Yeah.
So then, like, what did she use? Like, part of it in the sandwich, realized that wasn't enough, then try to use a little more in the dinner, and he gets vomity sick, and that still wasn't enough. So then on the Moscow Mule, she's like, I'm just going to use all $900 worth, make it fucking 5 times the lethal like, because to go from all it did was give him hives or make him throw up to 5 times the lethal dose makes me think that you upped your ante by a lot, but it's like she spent the same amount both times. So, or maybe she had some left over from the first time, then got $900 more, you know? I don't know.
I don't know anything about drugs, so I'm picturing, like, her, like, dumping, like, an entire, like, Country Time lemonade jug full of fentanyl into his singular Moscow Mule.
When you think,
like, how much is it?
When you think of $900 worth, it does sound like it would have to be physically a large amount.
5 times the legal limit.
Yeah, I mean, I will say the lethal amount of fentanyl is, like, pretty
right,
low.
but that's what then I'm like, okay, but fentanyl is, like, almost always
it's really
dangerous.
easy to hit the lethal. Yeah.
Right. At least, like causes sickness.
Yeah.
But so yeah, I'm, like, trying to picture, and then like, to your point, like, if it was probably, like, a small enough amount that she could put it in a Moscow Mule without it being noticed.
Yeah.
Then, like, how tiny of an amount did she put in his sandwich?
I know. Yeah. So I'm thinking now. So
she just, like, breathed it in and then breathed on the sandwich.
Just, like, she took a little.
She...
But yeah, I mean, I think about it as, like, if you cut a drug, like meth or, like, a Xanax, so, like, you could even do it in a pill form. But if you cut a drug with fentanyl, people could still die. Like, people have died from accidentally taking something that was cut with fentanyl. So, like, if you think of, like, in a Xanax pill, it is possible to put enough percentage of fentanyl that it could kill someone, then I mean, the lethal dose is, like, physically pretty small. So maybe, and I guess I don't know how much it costs, you know? Like, I'm thinking of, like, $900 worth of weed. You'd have weed everywhere.
You bought a farm.
Yeah, like, I'm like, where do I keep it? So but I guess it is, like, expensive probably. Yeah. So I don't know.
Like, I'm literally, like, I keep picturing, like, how did he not notice this giant block of fentanyl? How did he not taste the fentanyl in his mule?
Powdery mule.
He said, Is this shaved ice in here?
Yeah.
What is this white stuff?
When I looked up lethal fentanyl dose, it's, like, a help number. It's like, please call someone.
Told you, that came up for someone when they searched, oh Lord, I think of jumping.
Oh.
To figure out what Is It Over Now was called.
Yeah. All right. So, Also, to help in Corey's defense, Eric's own best friend said that he could not see Corey doing anything like this, which is a great...
I'm sure you couldn't.
Character witness. Still doesn't help me.
Yeah.
The details of Corey's story for the night of Eric's death also changed. Corey now claims that Eric did take a THC gummy after previously claiming that he did not, and that he took a shot. I'm really not sure what this changes for her.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like,
I guess maybe she's trying to say, like, somebody, like, tampered with their weed gummies and put fentanyl in them.
I guess, yeah, I hadn't really thought of that. I just was thinking, like, him being more under the influence doesn't... I guess we'll get to a part in a minute that maybe connects them, but, like, him being more under the influence doesn't make him more likely to have overdosed on fentanyl, or to have died, since we know what the reason of death was the fentanyl overdose.
Yeah.
You know? But, yeah.
But I think the only thing could be, like, her insinuating that their THC was, like, laced with fentanyl. However, if that's the argument she was going for, she should have said that he took a THC gummy from the start.
Right. Yeah.
But also, do you know what was not in his system?
Right. They do got that information.
They did a toxicology report. That's how we found out about the fentanyl.
Yeah. Also, although Corey told the 911 operator, as well as first responders, that she did attempt CPR on Eric, she later claims that she would not have said that because she was not trained to perform CPR. And that is why the blood in his mouth was undisturbed, because she did not attempt CPR.
Then why'd you move him to the floor, sis?
Yeah, and why'd you tell them that you did? But apparently she didn't say that. But also, I must say, from what I have gathered in listening to a lot of true crime, the 911 operator will walk you through it. So, like, it's not really believable to say you never said you attempted it, because if you had said, oh, ma'am, I don't know how to do CPR, so I'm not going to attempt that, the 911 operator would have said, oh, here's what you'll do.
Right.
Let me walk you through that.
Yeah. Help me help you.
Yeah. They did also point to evidence from Eric's phone that showed that he was awake for a while after Corey said she went into their child's room to lay down. Eric was texting from 9:13 to 10:58. Between that time, he spoke with a friend on an 8-minute phone call. Between 11:45 and 11:56, he was scrolling on Instagram. While this is interesting information to have, I'm not really sure who it helps or hurts. Like, it shows that if Corey poisoned him at 9, he used his phone for another nearly 3 hours, assuming that he was the one using it after that phone call. But it also shows that between 11:56 and 3 a.m., when Corey finds Eric, he was not using his phone. So, like, I just don't really know what the point of this is. Yeah, I just don't really know, like, what this proves or disproves, like, and the fact that the defense brought it. Like, are they trying to say, like, well, she couldn't have killed him at 9 because he was up till midnight? But it's like, I don't know. She's still the only person in the house between 9 and 3. So I'm like,
yeah,
I don't really get it. Unfortunately, the glass that Eric was said to have been drinking from that night was never taken into evidence or tested. That's sad. We obviously can't be sure that they would have found anything or that it hadn't been washed out, but it would be nice to know.
Right. Now we know they definitely won't find anything.
Yeah. In response to one of the financial motive claims, the defense pointed out that the safe was not Eric's alone, but had actually been purchased by a joint credit card, which just means nothing to me when you're married.
Yeah.
The code had later been changed without Corey knowing the new code. this does not sound good for the defense to say, like, Eric was changing the code on his safe and not telling her. It sounds to me like that fully tracks with everything we've heard, that Eric doesn't trust her. And that sounds to me like it is Eric's safe alone, if Eric is the only one with the code.
Yeah.
Way. But maybe they're just trying to make him sound shady. Like, he changed the code without telling her. But it's like, yeah, this bitch was trying to steal his money.
Yeah, he literally said, if I die, you need to watch my wife's behavior.
Yeah.
This does not surprise me that he doesn't want her knowing the code to his money.
Yeah. The defense also claimed that inside the safe was only $10,000 in cash, not nearly $165,000. I think the question, though, is, would Corey have known at the time that there was only $10,000? Would it have mattered? Like, money is still money to her, but that doesn't prove that she knew it wasn't the 165 when she was trying to get into it. Yeah, so I just wonder, like, when she was trying so hard to break into the safe, she still could have thought it was $165,000. Like, just because it turned out to only be $10,000 doesn't mean, like, her motive in trying to get into it isn't the same, and fighting his sister on it.
Yeah.
Now, again...
Physically.
Yeah. Again, Corey has not officially made it to trial, but her bail has been denied as it was determined that there is substantial evidence to show that she poses a substantial danger to the community. But during her time in prison, a letter was found in her cell written to her mom. It was about her brother testifying that Eric bought fentanyl. This was obviously highly suspicious. But later, Corey said in a recorded phone call to her mother that it was just the plot of a fiction novel she was working on.
Nope.
That included her husband's name and his actual real cause of death.
Stop writing books. No more books for you.
It really is giving Casey Anthony when she said that.
Yes. Dingbat behavior.
Yeah. Her attorney would later say that either way, it cannot be considered witness tampering because the letter was never sent. I want...
You know what I want to say?
Mm-hmm. Be so fucking for real.
Be so fucking for real! Corey. And Corey's little friends. Be so fucking for real.
Also, like, I get that they were probably fighting something specific by saying, like, this isn't witness tampering. Baby, witness tampering is the least of your worries. You just basically said...
what we were worried about, to be honest.
Right. You just basically said, like, help me prove I didn't commit this murder, and also, because I did commit this murder. Stupid. I want to leave this with an unrelated story about Corey. A couple came forward to talk about buying a home that Corey had flipped. They reported getting sick repeatedly after moving in. They were in and out of the hospital. Their daughter developed asthma and joint pain. Their son began to regress in school. And later, they found out that there were extremely high levels of water damage and mold in the home. The original homeowners who had sold the house to Corey said that they had shown Corey the water damage and mold before she bought and flipped it. But the damage was not addressed, just simply covered up before being sold again.
She gave it the landlord special.
Yes. So basically...
and then sold it.
Yep. Basically, if nothing else, Corey Richins is a fraud.
She's a bad person.
Yeah.
Not allegedly. She is a bad person. Everything else we can say allegedly.
Yes.
But simply...
I also would just like to know, and I guess this is something we won't get till the trial, but, like, I just would like to know, like, then what did you purchase $1,800 worth of fentanyl for?
For fun?
Are you a fentanyl user? Like, is this, like, you know what I mean? Is she gonna insist that it was for an investor who wanted pain meds? Like, what is the possible, when your text messages to Carmen about meeting up to purchase something from her perfectly line up with her story about you buying fentanyl, and then your husband ends up dead from fentanyl, like, I don't need to know anything else.
Yeah. Set yourself up for that one.
I do not understand.
You know, like that episode of Catfish where he's like, so you like men? And he's like, no. And he's like, but you're speaking romantically to men online. And he says, you got me there.
Yeah.
Like, that's Corey. Like everyone is like trying to lay things out for her. And she's like, no. And they're like, no, literally. Look. And she's like, well,
yeah.
You got me there.
So you killed your husband? No. Okay, so you bought fentanyl for 6 days.
That killed your husband?
You bought a significant amount of street fentanyl 6 days before your husband died by a significant amount of street fentanyl? You got me there.
Yeah.
And that is all I have. But hopefully, one day, in a real-time true crime, we will have an update on that.
Yeah, like we did today.
Yeah, full circle.
Fun.
Maybe
so fun.
Probably won't be in 2 weeks, but
no. But you never know.
Yeah.
Never say never.
Yeah. All right. Well, good night, everyone. I was about to say girlies, but I don't know.
He, she's, and theys.
Yeah. Good night.
Girls, gays, and theys.
Yeah. I do doubt that the number of straight men listening is very high.
Specifically the girls, gays, and theys.
Yeah.
My husband watched the Oakville Blobs episode today.
Nice.
Because he has been asking me all fucking week what an Oakville Blob is. I said, watch it. I'm not telling. I don't have to spend 20 minutes talking about it to have to tell you separately.
Yeah. Yeah, so if y'all haven't yet, go over to our YouTube and watch that, our bonus episode from last week.
Mm-hmm.
Woo-hoo. Alrighty. Bye.
Bye.